Morning, Teri here at Rooster Farm. Today I'm planning to talk to you a little bit about what I'm planning to share with you and what I'm going to cook. I've decided to make my homemade Chinese food recipes and why, a little history about why I know how to do that. In the early 80s, my family used to order Chinese food takeout for family occasions, birthday parties, and things like that. And it was something that we didn't do a lot because it was expensive. So, it was kind of a treat for us to order Chinese takeout. And one day, a neighbor of mine, who I used to work with, said that she used to teach Chinese food cooking at the local college and that she still had the recipes and that she would be willing to show us how to, cook Chinese food in her home. So my mom and I went over to her place, I think a few evenings, and basically she showed us the basics. She showed us, make chicken chow mein, egg foo young, things like that. And so we got kind of a basic idea of how to make Chinese food. And it was really great. I mean, the recipes, it just made a ton. When you go and order Chinese food takeout, you got to order at least 2 chow mein because it's not enough if you have a big group. And so these recipes, I mean, there is a lot of chopping, but they make a lot and they're just so really, really good, really good. So today I'm going to show you 5 recipes that I make. Chicken chow mein, egg foo young, chopped suey, bacon fried rice, and sweet and sour chicken. And so we're going to get started to do that. It's going to take me a while to do some chopping, but I think we're going to be eating really good today. Okay, let's get started. So here I am showing you how I prepare my rice. This recipe is made with cold rice, so you will need to either cook your rice early in the morning if you're planning on making your fried rice in the evening, or cook the rice the night before and then have it in the fridge ready to go for your recipe. I'm just using here jasmine rice. Use whatever rice you have in hand. 2 cups of rice and 4 cups of water. I have a really great pot here. It's from Salad Master Pots, and I can just put my rice, my water, bring it to boil. As soon as it boils, I turn the heat off, put the lid on, and in 30 minutes, I've got cooked rice. Use your rice cooker if you have one. It doesn't matter, just as long as you cook the rice before and give it a chance to be able to be cooled down. Just makes it less clumpy, or less, so it doesn't actually stick together, so it just works a lot better. Here I am just putting the lid on. 30 minutes, there we go. Rice is ready, and I'm just going to transfer it to a big bowl here, and because it's really cold outside, I'm just going to put my rice outside to cool. First dish I am going to make is chicken chow mein. You're going to need 1 carrot, grated. You're going to need 4 small bok choy, just wash, and here we are showing you how to cut them. So one of the things that the girl that taught us how to cut Chinese food is how to cut certain vegetables for certain dishes. Now you notice here I'm cutting it lengthwise because chow mein is a noodle and the noodles are long, and so you cut things long lengthwise. So most of the dishes I think are like that. So my chow mein, my egg foo young, and you'll notice here we are. They're all nice and thin. When you make rice, you're going to be cutting it a lot smaller into small little cubes because rice is small, and so you're cutting it to the same shape as what the rice is, basically. We're going to need 1 large onion, and you're going to slice it thinly here. So I just cut it in half, and just like you're basically going to fry onions, and then I just chop them again in half. There we go. And you're going to need 3 stalks of celery. So notice how I'm cutting these a little bit different than normal. I'm going to cut off the ends, and those little ends are going to go to my chickies. So just basically on an angle, and just really, really like slice the knife down, just thinly down, you know, on an angle. And then just chop it again in half because you don't want to eat a big chunk of celery. See, just little thin strips. There they go. And next we're going to need some bean sprouts. Calls for 2 cups of bean sprouts. I had a cup ready, but I just basically used 2 big handfuls of bean sprouts. I only needed the bean sprouts for one other recipe, so I'm basically using half of this bag for each recipe. And there we go. Here's some of the ingredients. Of course, I'm using chicken thighs. Use whatever you want. Chicken breasts, the chicken thighs, just a boneless chicken. You've got the noodles, the bok choy. I'm having some bamboo shoots there in a tin. So cut your chicken into bite-sized pieces. There's my cooking companion there. There's old Rupert. Looks like he's fallen asleep. Just bite-sized pieces. And you're going to add some oil to your wok. And you're just going to fry the chicken until it's white and it's all cooked. No red left in it. Not raw chicken. And while you're doing that, just put a pot of water boiling on the stove, and you're going to add your chow mein noodles to it. This is something I do. I know the recipe just said to add your noodles to your chow mein when you're cooking it, but it tends to get some little hard pieces. So I like to cook my noodles. You basically cook it for about 1 or 2 minutes and bring it to a boil, turn the heat off, and drain it right away. And here I've just drained it and have it ready to go in a strainer. I'm trying here to mix some chicken bouillon. Normally I have chicken powder, but I just had one of those cubes and it was kind of hard. So I'm just trying to kind of mash it up a little bit. And then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to it to help thicken it. The chicken is ready here. I'm just going to remove it from my wok. And then I'm going to add the celery, the onions, and the carrot to the wok. Just stir it all up, and the bamboo shoots. I'm using half a can in here and half a can in my chop suey. Just mix it up. You don't want it to be like super tender, but you don't want it super hard either. So I've cooked it a few minutes. You can hear my dog snoring in the background. Hey, Ruby. All right, and then add your bok choy. Seems like a lot, but it does cook down. And your bean sprouts. Cook that for a few minutes, then add your chicken back into the pot, or into the wok, sorry. And add the cooked chow mein noodles. And once you have it all mixed, you're going to add your chicken stock. So your I think it's 1 chicken stock cube, a half a cup of water, and a couple tablespoons of cornstarch, just to help thicken it a little bit. Mix it all up, and your 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. And there we go. Basically, that is done. Just heat it through, and then I'm transferring it to a casserole dish. Yummy. Looks really good. Next, we're going to make egg Foo Yung. This is my absolute favorite Chinese food recipe. We're going to need 3 stalks of celery. Cut them the same way that you did for the chow mein, nice thin strips. Man, that looks tedious. There we go, all done. And 1 medium-sized onion. Cut it the same way, nice and thin strips. There we go. Put that into a bowl along with the celery. And the remainder of the bean sprouts, and about 10 to 12 mushrooms, washed and sliced thinly. And add that to your bowl. And you're going to need some frozen green peas, 1/2 cup. And there we are, my farm fresh eggs. You're going to need 8 eggs. Look at those nice yellow yolks. Okay, now you need to add 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. I'm using the China Lily brand. I just prefer that one, but you can use whatever soy sauce you have on hand. Once you've added the soy sauce, you just need to give it a good stir, mix it all up till it's all combined. I sometimes find if I make this ahead and do all my other dishes first and do the egg Foo Yung last, sometimes it just gives the chance for the egg to kind of totally combine, and it just makes it a lot easier to cook. looks good. And you're going to get a saucepan and you're going to put some oil and make sure it's nice and hot. You will have to add oil periodically to the pan because it does kind of soak it up. Just makes it easier for you to be able to flip them. Just add one big scoop into the pan to sort of spread the ingredients out so it's all kind of flat and layered, and all the egg has got some of the ingredients in it. And just gonna wait and let it cook. Looks good. Give it a flip. Yum. Right, the next recipe is beef chop suey. Here's what the ingredients that you're going to need. You're going to need 2 small bok choy, 2 stalks of celery, 2 carrots, 1 medium onion, 1/2 a broccoli head, 1/2 cauliflower, and 1/2 a can of bamboo shoots. Just wash and separate your bok choy and just cut it into chunks. Sort of bite-sized pieces, and add that to a small bowl along with your 1/2 a can, or it says 1/2 a cup, but it's basically 1/2 a can of bamboo shoots. And add that to the bok choy. And in another bowl, you're going to add slices of carrots. Just sort of slice them on an angle. There we go, about that size. Put that into another bowl. You're going to chop your celery into bite-sized pieces. And the same with your onion. And you're just going to need 1/2 of a head of broccoli. Just cut off the end, sort of the woody part, and then just cut it into bite-sized pieces. And we'll need 1/2 a head of cauliflower. Nice bite-sized pieces. You're going to add that to the bowl with your broccoli. There's a quick scan of your recipe, ingredients already, your cornstarch, your chicken bouillon, your oyster sauce and soy sauce. You need 1 pound of beef. You're going to slice it into bite-sized pieces. You're going to put some oil in your wok to heat, and you're going to fry the beef until it's no longer pink and it's lightly browned. Once it's done, just remove the beef to a plate. And then you're going to add your vegetables. You're going to add the bowl that has the broccoli, the cauliflower, carrots, and celery because it takes a little bit longer for those vegetables to cook. So add them, give them a stir. And once they've cooked for a few minutes, then you're going to add the bowl with your bok choy and your bamboo shoots. Watch the heat because sometimes it tends to burn on the bottom, so you just stir it occasionally. Here I'm getting my chicken stock ready. I'm not going to add it yet, and you're going to add your 2 tablespoons, or 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, sorry. The 1 bouillon cube, 1 cornstarch, tablespoon of cornstarch, and a half a cup of water. Now I'm adding my bok choy and my bamboo shoots. I give it a stir. You don't want the vegetables to be super tender, but you don't want them to be hard either. So just cook them before you add your, well, here we go. We're going to add the meat, but you got to cook it just a little bit before you add the meat. I did add a little bit of water here because it just wasn't cooking fast enough for me, and I just steamed it a little bit with the lid on. Now it was cooked enough, and now I'm adding my chicken stock. So 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, 1 chicken bouillon cube, and a half a cup of water, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. Yum. It smells so good. So just combine this all. And once it's fully combined, then you're going to transfer it to a baking dish, or not a baking dish, but just to a casserole dish to keep warm. Now we're going to make bacon fried rice. You're going to need 4 green onions, 1 medium-sized onion, and 3 stalks of celery. So we're going to cut the celery a little bit different. Like I said before, we're going to cut them in very small pieces because you're cooking with rice and you don't want big chunks. You want the vegetables to be the same size as the rice, so to speak. And you're going to cut your onion the same, slice it, and then chop it into small pieces. Transfer that to a container. And then you're going to chop your onions as well into small pieces. And you're gonna, this is something that you add to the rice after you're cooking it. So you just beat a couple eggs. You're gonna get a small fry pan with some oil in it. And you're gonna just basically fry it like an omelet. sure the oil is covering the bottom of the saucepan. Pour in your egg mixture. Just cook it until it's cooked. And when it's cooked, just you can flip it and then you put it onto a plate. And what you're going to do with that, you're just basically going to chop it into pieces, and you're going to add it to your rice. And of course, we're going to use our own applewood bacon that we make here on the farm. You need half a package. It's beautiful bacon. And you're going to cut that into bite-sized pieces. And add that to a plate. So there we go. The egg, celery, onions, and bacon, and your cold rice. So first of all, we're going to cook the bacon. No need to add any oil to the wok because the bacon has enough of that. And fry it until it's cooked. Not too brown. You don't want it to be overcooked and hard. And add your celery. You can add your onions at the same time. The recipe said just to add the celery and cook it with the bacon. I did find that the onions were a little bit hard, but it wasn't bad. So now we're going to add 6 cups of rice. So basically, the 2 cups of rice that we made earlier was probably just a little bit more than you needed. I think I had another extra cup of white rice that I didn't need to use, so I just made some rice pudding with it after. And then add your onions. And you're going to add your egg, your cooked egg. Mix it all up. And you're going to add your soy sauce. Four tablespoons of soy sauce, or you could add more if you like, or you could just wait till when you're eating it, you could add more soy sauce as well. I sometimes find it too salty if you add too much soy sauce. So just try and combine it. It's all done. Then add it to a casserole dish and keep warm. Last recipe we're making is sweet and sour chicken. And here's a quick scan of the ingredients you're going to need. You're going to need 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You got some peppers and pineapple. Yummy. And these are peppers that I actually still had in my greenhouse. So the recipe calls for 1 red and 1 green pepper, and I'm going to use, I guess, just a variety of the 3 of them, 3 different colors. They're kind of smallish, but I'm just going to use as many as I think will be enough, the equivalent of 2 small peppers, and this is a little tiny green one. Can you hear my pug snoring? I have a pug. My pug Ruby is on the floor beside me as I'm doing my audio, and she is a snorer. Anyway, if that's a sound you hear, that's what it is. So cut your peppers in small bite-sized pieces. You're gonna cut 1/2 a cup of onion and cut into bite-sized pieces as well. And then cut your chicken into bite-sized pieces. So once you finish cutting your chicken, you're going to be dipping it in a little bowl of egg and a mixture of cornstarch and flour. 1/2 cup cornstarch, 1/2 cup flour. And you're going to be deep frying it. I'm not using a deep fryer. I'm going to just use my wok because it's the last dish of the day. I'm just going to be filling my wok with about 2 inches of oil, and I'm just going to heat it to 350 degrees. Meanwhile, you're just going to add some oil to a saucepan, and you're going to start to cook your onions and your green pepper, and you're going to season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. So you're going to get 2 eggs in a little bowl, and you're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, and you're going to get 1/2 cup flour, 1/2 cup cornstarch, and use a fork and just kind of mix it till it's all combined. You need a cookie sheet with a piece of paper towel on it. So once the chicken is cooked, you're just going to lay the chicken pieces on there just to soak up a little bit of the oil. Just grab your chicken and dip it into the egg and completely cover it with egg, and then transfer it to the flour cornstarch mixture and make sure it's completely covered. And then you're just going to drop it into your oil carefully. Drop it into your oil and cook it for just a few minutes. They're very small pieces, and it shouldn't take that long to cook. But once they're golden brown, take them and transfer them to your cookie sheet. So you're going to heat your peppers and your onions just for a few minutes. You don't want them to be really, really tender, but you just want them to be fork tender. And then you're going to combine your sauce mixture for your peppers. And so you're going to need, it says 3/4 of a cup of pineapple chunks. I used the whole can of pineapple chunks, drained. You need 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/3 cup of apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons soy sauce, 1/2 teaspoon garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon onion powder, 1/3 cup of ketchup, and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. So just here, the oil here, I just put about, maybe 8 or 9 pieces at a time. You don't want to overdo it, have too much in there at once. It takes a lot longer to cook. Here I am transferring it to the paper towel. Definitely has to be the last dish of the day. And I think I had about 3 batches, so I made lots of chicken. It's good. Son playing with the dogs. And we have a friend's dog is staying with us, Scooter. That's my son, Morgan. Okay, here I am adding the pineapple. Just cook it till it's nicely browned. The heat down, don't want it too hot. Here we are, mixing the sauce. So, like I said, 1/2 cup sugar into 1/3 cup of apple cider vinegar. You're going to add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1/2 teaspoon garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon onion powder, 1/3 cup of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, just help it thicken the sauce. Dump it in over top of your peppers. Get every last drop and stir it till it's combined, and just cook it for a few minutes. Then you're going to add your chicken to it and make sure it's all covered in that yummy sauce. And then you're just going to transfer it to a casserole dish. Here it is. This is the last bit of chicken. This is a really good recipe. Nice and golden brown. Well, I'm all finished and the house smells wonderful. I'm so looking forward. Can't get these things off. Look what I'm eating. Anyways, I hope you enjoy.